Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Matt here with Backwoods Ministry. It is currently about 7:40. Thunder. It is currently about around 7:40 p.m. Tuesday evening. It is June 20th, the 2023 year of our Lord. And guys, I haven't been on here in 6 or 7 months. I I extend my deepest apologies. Um, y'all, I'm not making excuses. I really have. I've been extremely busy. I've been working 7 days a week. My daughter was playing travel volleyball. I was caught up in that. So if I'm not working, I was at the volleyball court, watching my daughter's tournaments, and she's doing really well. She's actually being watched by several college scouts. So she's actually doing really well in volleyball, and I couldn't be more happier for her, man. She's the middle child, and she's always kind of followed in her older sister's shadows. So it's good to see her get out and do something and have something for herself, you know. And volleyball is hers. I mean, this my oldest daughter had softball for, you know, I can't even tell you how many years, and my son's got his foot or soccer and played a little bit of football, and my youngest daughter, she's doing volleyball, and she is doing extremely well, and I couldn't be more happy or proud for her. But anyway, I just want to hop on here and holler at y'all for a minute, man. I haven't seen y'all in quite a while, and I'm not gonna lie, I miss it. I have been uploading videos on my other channel. Most of I started a landscaping business, and I have a video for that just to try to document my journey from that way I can go back and look at it and just look at how much I've grown, or how much my business has grown with time. But anyway, I started that business, and I'm not quite there yet to where I can leave my full-time job, but I am getting closer and closer, guys. I've grown substantially over the past year and a half, and my wife and I and my family, we've been very blessed with lawn and landscaping, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, it's exciting, very stressful, very tiring, but nonetheless, it's very exciting. But you know, I don't know if I told y'all or not, but back in September, well, let me I'll get to that in just a minute. You know, I'll tell you this: when I started my landscaping business, there was a certain procedure that the entire country thought was going to be mandated for everyone to be able to stay employed at their current jobs. Well, my wife and I were in complete and utter defiance. We were not doing it. I don't care who mandated what. We were willing. I was willing to go to jail. I don't know what her thought process was. She said she wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing it. But, and so, yes, the Lord will provide, but He also gives us wisdom and common sense to know that we need to be prepared for things. So my wife and I decided to be proactive, and we decided to start a business. And it was either going to be buy a truck and start truck driving, or start a landscaping business. Well, we went down the landscaping route. It's a little tougher, and it takes a little longer to get it off of the ground, but I am able to be home every night, and I'm able to be with my family every single day. Maybe not as much as I was when I was just working my full-time job, but I'm with my family every day, nonetheless. And that's the route we decided to take for that reason. Well, I did really well last summer and spring and early fall. For it to be my first year in landscaping, we did extremely well. But I woke up, or well, let me take that back. I'm still not ready to tell you that yet. But, I went to a prophecy conference. I want to say it was right at the beginning of the pandemic. And it wasn't like you think, it wasn't an end time, an eschatology conference. It was self-proclaimed prophets. And I fell in to the Pentecostal church. Not knocking the Pentecostal church, they have their beliefs. Look, guys, I'm gonna say this: the only thing that's important is the gospel. If you believe that Jesus died on that cross, rose, or if you believe he died on that cross, was buried, and rose again on the third day, that's all that matters. Outside of that, nothing else matters. That is the most important part. I mean, there's a lot of other things that's important, but as far as things being life or death, the gospel is what matters. And we all agree on the gospel. So, my mom and my aunt were visiting, or I think my mom may still be a member of this church, but it's a non-denomination church, but they lean more toward the Pentecostal side of the faith. Well, I've always told y'all I can speak in tongues. I mean, it doesn't just come whenever I want it to. For me, it only works if I'm laying hands on somebody and praying for them. That's the only time that I can speak in tongues. I'm not one of these guys that claims I can just ride down the road and just mumble a whole bunch of syllables and that it's the prayer of angels. That's not how it works for me. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you one way or the other whether that's real or not, because I really don't know. I just know that it doesn't work for me. But anyway, we went down a rabbit hole there. I didn't mean to do that. But we were at this conference, and the guy prophesied over me. His name is, there's two of them. One of them's name's Ed Trout, and the other one's name's Andre. I can't remember Andre's last name. But they're from South Africa. And really nice guys. Seemed like they were really nice guys. And they talked real cool. I like the way they talk. It's not like us down here in the South, They have a completely different dialect or accent, whatever you want to call it. But it sounds pretty cool. And there's some people walking down the road over here in front of the house. But anyway, the guy prophesied over me. His name was Andre. And he told me that he asked me what I do for a living. I told him, I drive a truck. And he asked me if I was happy. I told him, I said, no, I'm not. And I was completely honest with him. I said, no, I'm not. And he told me, and everything he said, or not everything, but a lot of things he said added up. I mean, it made sense. He told me that I am the type of person that stays in trouble. My mouth gets me in trouble. And that I was actually born to be a leader, and that I like being in the role of leadership, and that I was actually meant to be a CEO, and that I need to take that leap of faith. And when he said that, as far as taking a leap of faith, I had no clue what he was talking about at all whatsoever. Okay? When I first got saved back in 2019, I got saved in January of 2019, and I want to say this was sometime around April or May of 2019. My cousin prayed over me, and he had a word for me, and he told me that I am supposed to be a leader of men, that I am supposed to lead a group of men, be in charge of a group of men, and that I need to stay diligent in everything I do, stay faithful, but I was born with leadership skills, and that I am supposed to be a leader of men, and that it will happen one way or another. Okay, now, fast forward to this past September. Well, we're not going to get to that just yet. I know I keep leading y'all astray, guys. I'm sorry. But anyway, it's been a while since I've been in front of the camera on this ministry, man. I'm about as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, so y'all forgive me and bear with me. But anyhow, I have several friends that are also very devout Christians, but they're also business owners as well. One of these guys owns a tree service. Actually, two of them owns a tree service. One of them owns a trucking company, and one of them is actually a fellow landscaper. And all four of these guys told me, look, I know you don't want to hear this, and I know I know how hard this is to do. Especially a man that has 3 children, a wife, and bills. But the truth of the matter is, your business is never going to get to where it needs to be for you to leave your job. The only way you're going to really be able to grow your business is to leave your full-time job and focus 100% on your business. I love the Lord, and I know that He is capable of doing anything He wants to do. But I've always been that person. If I'm going to leave my job and step out in faith to do something, it's going to be God telling me to do so. I'm not going to do that just because some friends or family tells me to do so, or because somebody that I don't even know tells me to do so. That is not the way it's going down. I have way too much to lose. I've worked way too hard to have what to have what little bit I have, and I've got a family to support. So I'm just 1,000% against that. All right, now, fast forward to September of 2022. I got in a terrible accident. It really was a horrific accident down in South Georgia, driving a truck for the company that I'm driving for. And the woman that I got in the accident with, there's no doubt in my mind that God was with her that morning, because she should have died. I'm being 100% honest here. She should not have survived that crash. This lady pulled out in front of me. I was headed one direction. I was headed south on US 1, doing 65 miles an hour. There's an intersection. The crossing lane has stop signs on both sides. She ran straight through this stop sign 30 yards from me. I'm 30 yards from this intersection. She ran that stop sign and stopped right in the middle of the intersection. I locked the brakes up and T-boned her on the passenger side. Thank God it was the passenger side, because there's no way she would have survived if it had been the driver's side. But she survived. She had several broken ribs. Her neck was broke. She had some brain bleeding and a few other things. I want to say her arm or wrist or something was broke. I cannot remember, but it was the scariest thing I have ever been a part of. I mean, it it scared me to death. It really did. I mean, I thought when I got to that car, I expected that woman to be dead. I mean, I did not expect her to be alive. But praise God, she survived. And, you know, it shook me up. I got suspended the rest of the week. That happened on a Tuesday. I didn't get paid for that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. I was suspended the rest of the week with no pay. Well, or until pending further investigation. Well, once they realized it wasn't my fault, you know, I was allowed to come back to work and go right back to work. And it was tough for me to go back to work. That really bothered me. I mean, a wreck like that, when you're driving a tractor trailer like that and you T-bone somebody and you know that woman shouldn't be alive right now, it does something to your mind. It really does. But by the grace of God, she survived. I got to keep my job and went back to work. We'll fast forward probably 2 months. Maybe a month. Sometime in late October is what I'm going to say. Woke up one morning, getting ready for work. Got out the shower. You know, put all my clothes on, put my boots on and everything, and I'm standing over the bathroom sink, brushing my teeth. And God spoke to me. And he said, ye of little faith. Or no, he said, son of man. And I looked around, looked to both sides of me, and I just chalked it up to, nah, it's bad pizza. I'm hearing things. Went back to brushing my teeth. You know, I'm brushing my teeth, getting them jokers all nice and pearly, shiny white and everything. Done it again. Son of man. A little bit louder that time and a little bit deeper. Son of man. This time the hair on my neck stands up and I'm looking around. I said, yeah. And he said, ye of little faith. I said, what? And that was it. So anyway, I wash my face off, go to work, get to work, get my stuff ready. I'm headed to my first stop. First, you know, on Wednesdays, that's my local route. It's probably about 30, maybe 40 minutes to my first stop. I'm headed down the road, you know, bebopping, doing my thing, shifting gears, turning and burning, baby. I hear it again. Ye of little faith. I turned the radio down. I said, are you talking to me? And he said it again. Ye of little faith. I said, God, is that you? Nothing else. Shook me up a little bit. I worked my first stop. Head down the road to my second stop. Nothing happened. Didn't hear anything at my second stop. I leave my second stop. It's probably about 45 minutes from my second stop to my third stop. And this time I'm getting scolded. It said, this voice, which was God, I'm sure of it, it was God. It says, I've sent you my prophet. I've sent you 3 of my servants. But yet you still don't believe me. And at this point, I'm terrified, you know. I know it's God talking to me, but I don't know if you've ever heard an audible voice before. It's the first time I've ever heard an audible voice, but it scared me. I mean, my hair on my neck is standing up at this point. And I said, what do you mean? What did I do? What are you talking about? And he says, I sent you my prophet. I've sent 3 of my servants to you. and you still fail to listen. I said, God, I don't understand. And he goes, what is it going to take for you to trust me? And that was the end of it. That was the end of it. And I thought about it it took me about an hour or two to figure out exactly what he was talking about. I thought about it, and I prayed and asked him, what are you talking about, Lord? I don't understand what's going on here. Well, it hit me. I went to that prophecy conference. That man told me to step out in faith. My cousin, friends, and another person told me the only way I'm going to succeed is to step out in faith. So I asked him, I just cried out. I said, God, I said, are you telling me that I need to leave my job, step out in faith, and just trust in you? I didn't hear anything. And I said, God, if that's what you're telling me, you're going to have to make it clear to me. You're going to have to give me a sign. All right. Check this out, y'all. I wear lace-up boots to work. I have never, in my 38 years, I have never busted a shoelace in my entire life, whether it be working, church shoes, school shoes, ball cleats, whatever. I have never, ever busted a shoelace. And when I said you're going to have to make it crystal clear to me and give me a sign so I'll know that's what you're talking about, the shoelace on my right boot busts. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, he's wanting me to step out in faith. And I understand all this, and I'm wrestling with it. But that's a tough thing to do, y'all. It really is. I don't know if any of you have ever been faced with something like this. My wife has talked, both of us have talked about this, and my wife loves the Lord too, okay? I don't know where she stands with God. She has her own personal relationship with God. I don't question her faith. I know she's a believer. And as much as I love God, it's tough for me to step out in faith. And you could just imagine what someone that's just a babe in their faith, how they would react when they hear that their husband's about to step out in faith. We didn't get in no long, drawn out argument or nothing like that. She was just against it, like me, I'm against it. And not trying to rebel against God. It's not that we are rebelling against God. It's just that we are terrified. We're scared to do something like that. And I'm sure if any of you have ever been faced with anything like this, you would understand. But I'm going to tell y'all, I watched a video on YouTube, under my other YouTube account. I watched a video, and it was actually a guy that I've become friends with, and he's been a landscaper for quite a few years, and he has my personal cell phone number. He texts me. He'll call me from time to time, and he'll share some tips with me, and coach me along if I have any questions or anything like that. And he calls and checks on me from time to time. That's how it is in the green industry, y'all. The industry's pretty tight. But he put out a YouTube video, I want to say 3 weeks ago. And I swear, y'all, it was like God was talking through him straight to me when I watched this video. And it's talking about stepping out in faith, talking about putting God first. And he was talking about trusting God and not working on Sundays. Now keep in mind, this is on a landscaping channel. You know what I mean? This is on a landscaping channel. I mean, this is not a ministry channel. Well, I texted him, you know, I was like, dude, I appreciate that video. You know, it was almost like you were talking directly to me. And, you know, we went back and forth, and he was like, man, yeah, I'll pray for you. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. You get the gist of it. But I thought about it that night, and I actually put out a video on my YouTube channel, my landscaping channel. And I have a Facebook page for my landscaping business, my landscaping company. I have a Facebook page, and I made it crystal clear to all of my customers, to my wife and everybody else, that we will no longer be working on Sundays, and that we will have our butts in a pew at church. Whether, I don't care if it rains every day but Sunday, I will not work on Sunday. And if it is meant to be for me to go full-time in landscaping, God will bust that door down for me. Well, and I meant business when I said that too. I wasn't just talking just to talk or just trying to appease people or anything like that. When I say it, I mean it. And I meant that. Well, I made that decision. Went a week. We didn't go to church the following week because we actually had a funeral to attend, which I kind of counted that as church because we were surrounded by Christians, and we did fellowship with some Christians, and the sermon we got was a very good sermon. I mean, I was on fire. I mean, that pastor was, man, that pastor, he put out a good message. He really did. And got my toes stepped on. And that's what sermons are supposed to do. Well, and it was God-centered, you know. He presented the gospel, talked about heaven and hell, all of that. There's plenty of brimstone and fire in that sermon. Well, the following Sunday was Father's Day, which was 2 days ago. And I told my son, I said, son, we're not going to go to church this week because the simple fact it's Father's Day, and most churches do something for all the dads that are at the church. And I have not been to church in probably a year and a half. I'm not going to lie. It's been a while. Have not been, well, I've been off and on, you know, once or twice here and there. But I have not really been to a church in a year and a half. And I told my son, I said, I'm not going to that church. And they feel obligated to give me a Father's Day gift when I haven't even been there. I said, I'm not doing that. I'll feel terrible, and I don't want them to feel obligated. So we're just going to sit this one out. We're going to do Father's Day with our family. Well, this coming up Sunday, we are going to church, and I'm going to open my ministry back up, my YouTube channel. I'm going to do what God has called me to do. And like I said, and you know, this is not the end of this video, so give me just a few minutes. But you know, it's like I told my wife, I said, I don't care if we lose every lawn care customer we have. I said, I refuse to work anymore on Sundays. I said, I will not do it. I said, for one, I need to start putting God first again. I need to start going back to church. I need to surround myself with men that will hold me accountable. And I also need rest. I said, I'm killing myself out here. I'm working 7 days a week from sun up to sundown, and that is not healthy at all. And it really is starting to take a toll on me. Well, you know, when I made that declaration, that was 2 or either 3 weeks ago. It was 2 Sundays ago. I made that decision to not work on Sundays anymore. And when I did that, my phone started ringing off the hook, man. I've picked up more clients. I've picked up more work. And I've just been blessed that much more just by putting God first. And you know, I'm not trying to make this into a prosperity sermon or anything like that, because for me, that's not what it's about. I want to serve God, and I want to put God first. For one, because he loved me first, and he knew me before I was born. And for two, he tells me to put him first, and he is God, and he's the boss. I'm going to listen to him. And three, he saved me from hell, and he deserves everything from me. But, you know, it was two scriptures that came to mind when I watched that video. One was that God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and the other was give to Caesar what is Caesar's, but give to God what is God's. And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah. I said I need to put a stop to Sundays. So from now on, I'm not working on Sundays no more. And you know, if it's meant to be, God will make it happen one way or another, and he will make a way when there is no way. But I do want to say this about the stepping out in faith part. I'm still wrestling with that, and I had a conversation with my wife while I was on the way home from my full-time job today. I told her, I said, you know, this is very tough. I said, I'm just not ready to make a step like that. I said, I'm terrified to do something like that. And she's with me 100%. She 100% agrees. And I don't know if I'm misunderstanding God, or if he really does want me to step out and just trust him, or what. But the past 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago, on a Wednesday, Tuesday night when I went to bed, I wake up at 2 o'clock every morning, y'all. But 2 o'clock, I set every night before I go to bed, my routine is to kiss everybody on the forehead, tell everybody good night. You know, me and all three of my kids, we have our own special handshake. We do that. I hug my wife, kiss her, tell her good night, and love her and everything. I hug the dog, give her some loving. I pet the cat on his head, give him some loving. Tell everybody good night, make sure every door in the house is locked. Go upstairs, put my pajamas on. I set my alarm clocks. I've got 5 different alarm clocks, including the clock on my nightstand. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning, I want every clock in the house going off to wake me up. And then I say my prayers, and I get into bed. Well, that Tuesday night, I just went straight to bed. Said my prayers, hopped into bed. I've been working since I graduated high school in 2002. And as far as I can remember, I have never, ever, ever not set my alarm clock. I've been with this company for almost 10 years, and I have never, ever showed up more than 15 minutes late. And I've done that 3 times in the past 10 years. That's just something I don't do, guys. I do not show up to work late. I'm that guy. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. Well, lo and behold, I wake up Wednesday morning thinking it's Saturday. What woke me up was a phone call from one of the supervisors asking me if I was coming to work. And I look around thinking it's Saturday. The sun was up. My room is lit up like it's daylight outside. And I'm wigging out, man, because I'm 3 hours late. I woke up 3 hours after I'm supposed to be at work. I've never done that before. Well, this past Monday, I drove 2 hours from our terminal here in Augusta to my first stop without anything I needed. I didn't have my hand trucks, I didn't have my handheld, or my paperwork. Don't know what happened. I've never done that before. And I told my wife, I said, you know, I've got a theory of what's going on here. I said, I think that God is trying to force me out of my full-time job. I don't know that to be the case, and I'm not claiming that that's what the case is, but there is something going on. Something going on. There's a lot of things that's been happening here in the past month that I just can't explain. And these are things that have never happened before. So I'm going to ask y'all this. I'm going to get back on here more often. I'm going to make it a point to try my best to get on here at least once a week. I'm going to do everything in my power when I have time to try and follow up on world news so I can come on here with hopefully a prophecy update, or at least update y'all on world events. I'm not doing any more prepping videos or anything like that because all of my videos got deleted. I don't know what happened. And I also got banned from YouTube for a little while. I was in YouTube jail. I don't know if I told y'all that or not, but I think I was in YouTube jail for like a month. It was twice, actually. It was a while. But, yeah, I'm getting back on here. But I'm going to ask y'all this one favor. Please pray for me. Pray. I need y'all to pray that God gives me wisdom. And I need him to give me clarity. And I need him to make it crystal clear to me what I am to do. Whether it be through a vision, a dream, or just a sign. Or even an audible voice. I don't care. But I also need y'all to pray that he gives that vision that he gives that same clarity to my wife. Because this is something that has to be a mutual agreement. I will not make a decision like this without my wife being on board with me. It's not because my wife runs the house or anything like that. We are equal in our household. I'm the head, then her, then the kids, just like it's supposed to be. But this is a very important decision, and it's a decision that she will be a part of. Whether she likes it or not, she will be a part of this decision. And I need y'all to pray that both of us have clarity on this, because I really do feel like he is trying to push me out in faith. And, I also heard a message this morning from Pastor Charles Lawson. Don't know if y'all know of him or not, up in Knoxville, Tennessee. I really want to go to that church and just visit, you know. But he preached on, no, it wasn't him. It was his church, but it was a young man. He was full of zeal too, but he was on fire. But he preached about stepping out in faith. He preached about Peter stepping out of the boat. I felt like that was a sermon directed directly towards me. Well, like I said, y'all pray for me on that. I'm going to be praying as well. I'm sure my wife will be praying about it. And I know my mama's going to be praying about it as well, because she has been clued in on everything also. And so is my aunt and my cousin. And several other folks. But yeah, y'all do that for me. And I'm going to do my best to get back on here at least once a week, because I really miss it. And I really want to be what God has called me to do. And that's to be a watchman. And I have been keeping up with world events. Probably not as much as I should, but I have been keeping up with it. And guys, I'm going to tell you what. Keep in mind, I hadn't been on this channel in 6 or 7 months. And I have lost track of some of the stuff that's happened. Just because there's so much has happened. We truly are living in unprecedented times. I mean, our economy is shot. I mean, I'm looking for it to collapse any day. I'm looking up. I mean, that's all you can do. Just keep looking up. But there's so much stuff going on. You've got we're in a crisis in our economy. You've got World War III on the horizon. It's going to pop off any day. The Middle East is a powder keg ready to explode right now. And every major country on earth has nukes pointed at each other, it seems like. It's almost like our military is about to turn their weapons on the citizens. You've got the American dollar is on the brink of collapse. You've got all this stuff going on with AI. You've got the World Economic Forum wanting to have AI and GPT or whatever it is to rewrite the Bible. There's just so much going on. So much going on. So much going on. Open your eyes. Stay alert. Be about the Father's business. You know, here's the thing, guys. When Jesus comes back, he's going to catch us doing something. Me personally, I want him to catch me with my hands to the plow, moving forward. And I pray that he catches all of y'all doing the same. But guys, I'm going to get off here and get back inside before that rain catches me, because it is moving in. It's already popping lightning everywhere around me. But, you know, I don't know. I'm going to try to get back on here sometime again before Sunday. But, look, man, until then, keep looking up, because your redemption indeed draweth nigh. Love y'all. Bye.